All right, welcome everyone. We are back for another of and by I mean Martyn's top 10 TVC most wanted. It is time for us to cover the expanded universe of Star Wars. There are 7 figures in the vintage collection with the expanded universe title, and I can't honestly begin to imagine how many figures or characters, I should say, that you could choose from in this one, Martyn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably I have no basis in fact for this statement, but I would be pretty sure if I was to say there's probably more characters in the expanded universe than anything in actual canon. So, to answer your next question early, this was tough.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to put a little caveat to everyone who's watching. I can only choose expanded universe characters that I'm aware of.
Mm,
While I do have a bit of a knowledge of the expanded universe, I've read a lot of the books, I've played a lot of the games. I have probably only been involved in a fraction of what there actually is. I have never read a
yeah.
comic book, I don't think really. I've read a few, but nothing major.
Mm,
I stopped reading the EU novels from a certain point back in the early 2000s. So there's a lot of characters that I probably haven't picked that people are screaming, "Why haven't you
yeah.
picked him?"
I was going
But
to say, so what you're saying is don't come at Martyn in the comments on this one.
yeah, 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 please.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, let's pick up from the ones that you do know then, starting with your number 10 pick.
Okay, number 10, I've gone for Kyle Katarn. Now, Kyle Katarn was the main protagonist in the Dark Forces video game that came out in 1995.
Okay.
Um, Now, obviously I've picked ones that I know, and I did play that game and I enjoyed that game for what it
Yeah.
was back in '95. But he also turns up in the Jedi Academy game, and I think possibly Jedi Knight. He was in that as well, which I played back in the day. I think they were on the GameCube, if I remember correctly. And I always liked his character. He's kind of like a Han Solo character, which ended up eventually becoming a Jedi, which seems to be something that happens all the time these days. Um, and they have released one of his figures in the past. I think it was on a Power of the Jedi card back in 1998, but I'm not 100% sure. So we're long overdue an update on a Kyle Katarn figure.
Yeah.
As I say, love the character, love the stories that I played that he was in. So yeah, number 10, Kyle Katarn.
Okay. Okay. Number 9.
Okay, number 9 is Jaina Solo. Um, And I'm going to give you number 8 as well while I'm here, if that's okay, because it's quite clearly going to be Jason Solo,
Yep.
the twins from Han Solo and Princess Leia. Now, I started reading the expanded universe novels after the Heir to the Empire novels. The Jedi Academy trilogy, Dark Saber, and all the books that preceded that. And they were quite young in those books, but you could already tell that they were great characters. And I think they were released before these 2 figures on the Legacy collection, I believe. So again, we're well overdue an update on these figures.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, me included, were kind of like, even if they didn't call them by that name, we're hoping we would have got these guys in the actual sequel trilogy. But that's another story. But yeah, these guys were great in the books. I think Jaina turned out to be like a hotshot X-wing pilot as well as a Jedi, and inevitably Jason became a really powerful Jedi who turned to the dark side
Nice. Yep.
at one point. So yeah, they were great characters from what I remember in the books. I really enjoyed reading them. So yeah, number 9 and number 8, Jaina and Jason Solo.
Okay. Yep. Number 7 then.
Number 7, fan favorite, I believe. Now I have to admit, this is the only character on my top 10 I don't have any. I've never read any of the comics or any of the books that she might have appeared in. But it's Darth Talon, the red Twi'lek Sith Lord.
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
I became aware of her actually through the fact that rumor has it that if George Lucas had done the sequel trilogy, she was going to be the apprentice of Darth Maul in his sequel trilogy.
Right.
Which I mean, how much better does that sound already than what we got? But hey ho. But yeah, She originates from the 2006 Legacy comics, sorry, which I did research before we did this. But yeah, she's like a really like scantily clad red Twi'lek
Yeah,
Sith Lord, and
gotta love a
can't
Twi'lek.
say fairer than that. So yeah, yeah. So number 7, Darth Talon.
Number 6, Martyn.
Okay, number 6 is Darth Malak. Now we're going to get heavily into my love of the KOTOR games now, I'm afraid. I love the Knights of the Old Republic games, number 1, number 2. And Darth Malak, I don't want to ruin a 20-plus-year-old game for anyone who hasn't played it, but all I will say is Darth Malak was the apprentice of Darth Revan in the first game. And that's all really I'm willing to say about that. But anybody who's played that game knows how cool this character is. So yeah, number 6, Darth Malak.
This is a kind of a special episode for me because I haven't consumed quite as much of
If
the
any.
expanded universe as many of you have, and yeah, a lot of these are new characters to me, unless there's. Well, I know them by name in most cases, but I don't know their backstories as
Yeah.
such. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm trying to, because I know you haven't played Knights of the Old Republic yet, and I know
yeah,
one day, hopefully, you will, and you don't
yeah.
know the story. And even though Matt's collection has tried to ruin it several times for you,
Oh, I've already
um,
forgotten all of that. It's
okay,
gone.
good, good. I would love you to play it without any knowledge because
Yeah,
it's just a revelation of a game. So anyway, that's all I'll say on that.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, that's the first 5 of your top 10, I should say. There's 2 episodes left before our viewers' choice episode, so make sure you've watched all of our other videos and make sure you put all of your characters of choice and vehicles of choice in those comments and in this comment section for this one, which could be quite out there, I think. But yeah, we'll see. On to the top 5, Martyn. Number 5.
Okay, number 5, I've gone for Prince Xizor. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Xizor.
I would have said Xizor, but yeah,
Xizor, okay.
I don't know.
Now,
Xizor.
I remember him from the Shadows of the Empire game that came out in the mid-90s, and he basically wanted to kill Darth Vader so he could take Darth Vader's place at the Emperor's side in the game. That doesn't
Right.
really make any sense considering he isn't force sensitive and he hasn't, he's not a Sith Lord. But back in the mid-90s, it was kind of, the rule of 2 wasn't particularly, a big deal. But yeah, he's obviously from the Black Sun criminal organization that we saw in the Clone Wars when Darth Maul was trying to get all of the underground together to try and take over Mandalore. Although he wasn't in it, that was the organization that he was part of. But yeah, we've only ever had him in the Shadows of the Empire carded figures back in the 90s again, which was
That's the only way I know him.
Yeah. Again, it was part of the sort of multimedia thing that they did for Shadows of the Empire with the game and the soundtrack and the figures, etc. And yeah, he's a great looking villain, great looking character. Love to see him modern day in a vintage card. I mean, he'd look amazing. So yeah, number 5, Prince Xizor.
Okay. Number 4 then.
Okay, number 4. Now, I might get a lot of crap for this.
Oh,
But when I started reading the books back in the late 90s, and there was the Jedi Academy trilogy, and there was another trilogy that I've watched, which I read, which I cannot remember right now, which is bugging me. And then there was Dark Saber, and it was kind of a continuing story of that era. And there was a villain in it, and because the Empire is still around in those books, taking place after Return of the Jedi. They're not in any power, but there's a lot of them still. And there was a character called Admiral Daala in it, and for some reason, I really, really sort of like, maybe because she was a bad guy, I don't know, but I really sort of liked the character in the books. I mean, she like all Imperial officers ended up failing in the end, but obviously she's not Admiral Thrawn levels, but I actually really like the character in the books. So and I don't think we've ever had an action figure of her. So this is purely a Martyn choice, this one, 100%, because it's a character that I still remember like 30 years later after reading about
Yeah.
So she must have been one of those characters that stuck with me. So number 4, Admiral Daala.
Okay. Number 3.
Okay, number 3 is Darth Sion, and he was known as the Lord of Pain. Now, he basically his body is completely broken, like broken to bits. There's nothing really left of him, but he's so strong in the dark side of the Force that he can force his body to stay together.
Okay.
Without splitting apart. Now he's from the Knights of the Old Republic 2 computer game. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've got a picture there you can see of him. Obviously,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Looks like a zombie.
yeah, a bit like
Yeah.
yeah. But if you can notice all of like the breaks in his skin,
Yeah.
that's all broken apart, and he's holding that together. Yeah. So yeah, he's a brilliant character in the game as well. Real evil and difficult to beat as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Number 3, Darth Sion.
It's pretty cool.
Mm.
You'd have thought he'd just use a suit to keep him together, but yeah. Okay, number 2.
Okay, number 2, I've gone for Darth Sion's master, Darth Nihilus. Now he is, according to legend, one of the most terrifying Sith Lords ever to live. I'm going to read a little thing here. He's constantly hungered for Force energy. Nihilus could absorb the energy of whole planets and leave them devoid of life. I mean, that's pretty badass.
Pretty badass.
And again, he's from Knights of the Old Republic 2, the computer game. I have to say, Knights of the Republic 1 is my favourite of the 2 games, but 2 definitely has the best characters in my eyes. So yeah, number 2. Have you got a picture up there? The
I've got a
mask
picture, yeah. It's very cool.
is very cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you can see where they get a lot of inspiration from, like later on Lucasfilm, from some of these designs, I think. But yeah, number 2, Darth Nihilus.
Yeah, nice. But that's number 2. So who is your number 1 pick for the expanded universe?
Okay, it is a Knights of the Old Republic 2 again, so that's my 3rd in a row. It's a female Jedi, or so we thought. She's in fact Darth Traya. Now, again, I can't really say too much about her because if you haven't
Without
played the
giving too
game
much
yet,
away.
I don't want to ruin anything. But I
Mm.
will read a little thing I wrote down here. Darth Traya is a Sith mastermind who plunged the galaxy into a new dark age, virtually devoid of Jedi. Again, that's all you need to know, really. Yeah, she's an absolutely brilliant character, and the way she's written in the game. I mean, she's not particularly much to look at. I mean, bearing in mind it's a 20-plus-year-old game. So if she was done today, the graphics would make her look a lot better. But if you look at pictures of her from the game, she's not much to look at. But it's more to do with the love of the character. I think I've chosen her. She's a great character, and as I say, I don't really want to say too much about her because this episode could have gone on for hours. But she's an amazing character. I think she'd look great on the vintage collection. Well, all of these I think would look great in the vintage collection, and I think the card backs would look absolutely incredible as well. If they would do another line of expanded universe cards, although they call it Legends now, obviously, which I don't like, but they did release some expanded universe cards a while back, didn't they? Or re-release them, and they carried on using that logo. So it would be cool if we saw any of these characters, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, nice, good picks. I think if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to pick Darth Nihilus. But I've just noticed something. In the previous episode, we went for a lot of Jedi. In this one, you've gone for a lot of Sith.
Yeah, but there was only 2 Sith I could choose in the last episode, and my reasoning when it comes to characters, it's always the bad guys. So
yeah, good. Have you got a bonus vehicle creature playset?
Well, I mean, I know I've gone very computer game heavy, and while I have read a fair few number of the books, obviously, my biggest choices have come from those computer games. So I would be remiss if I wasn't to choose one of my favorite vehicles ever, and that is the Ebon Hawk from the Knights of the Old Republic games 1 and 2. It's kind of your you fly around in that ship throughout the games. It's your ship. You know
Right.
you do stuff in it, and it's kind of like your Millennium Falcon basically. But it's a great looking ship, and yeah, just between missions you spend a lot of time on the ship, so it holds a special place in my memory. So yeah, the vehicle is the Ebon Hawk.
Very good. Nice. Well, that's it for another episode then. As always, be sure to let us know your thoughts on Martyn's picks. There's got to be quite a lot of them, and a lot of picks of your own. So make sure you get those in the comments. What are we going to cover next, Martyn?
I
2
think we've got to
episodes
do it.
left.
I think we've got to do it, Adam. We've been putting it off.
We're doing it, are we?
We're going to do it. The next episode is the Acolyte.
Ugh. Okay. Well, don't
we'll promise you-
unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Make sure you come back and watch that one, because I'm sure we'll find something fun to talk about. Make sure you hit like on this one if you enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
See you later.